Back to the Future. Across the three movies, the time travel rules operate under a single mutable timeline, meaning when Marty changes the past, the future reshapes around it. Unlike movies with branching timelines or fixed loops here, actions directly overwrite history. The flux capacitor's at the heart of it all, needing 88 miles per hour and 1.21 gigawatts to create a time displacement field. What's fascinating is how the power source evolves across the trilogy. First, a risky plutonium-fueled reactor, then a lightning strike from the Hill Valley clock tower, and later, the Mr. Fusion device, turning household trash into energy. Visually, the DeLorean's stainless steel body ensures even flux dispersal, so the temporal shift stays smooth, but the real kicker is how personal the consequences are. Marty's small mistakes, like bumping into his parents, start erasing his own existence. Back to the Future is about a single world constantly rewriting itself. Every jump carries weight, and they can't just hop around fixing everything without fallout. The movie turns time travel into a chaotic, high-stakes balancing act, where one misstep risks unraveling everything they thought was certain. Terminator. Time travel here works on a brutal one-way system. Skynet sends humans or Terminators from the future to the past, but there's no coming back. That's why when Kyle Reese or a T-800 arrives, they drop in naked, with no tech or weapons carried over. The time displacement only works on organic material or machines covered in organic tissue, so pure metal can't jump solo. What sets this apart is how each jump punches a wound into space-time, slowly destabilizing it, which is why only a few critical missions are ever launched. The timeline's a single thread, not a maze of branches, meaning every action in the past directly shapes the future. When Skynet targets Sarah Connor in 1984, it's because the Resistance's future victory threatens its existence, but by doing so, it accidentally helps create John Connor through Kyle Reese, completing a predestination loop. There's no fixing mistakes or endless retries, every choice sticks. Mechanically, the chronal displacement ring calibrates molecular structure to the past, locking travelers to precise dates. The movie leans hard into cause and effect, showing how attempts to change fate often just seal it tighter. By the way, if you guys like movie content like this, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, Arrival. For her, time becomes non-linear, and she experiences memories and future events with the same clarity, blending them into one continuous awareness. What's fascinating is, there's no physical time travel here. Louis changes it, but fulfills it. The heptapod script, shown through 71 logograms, serves as the catalyst for this transformation. Own mind. Groundhog Day. Time here traps Phil Connors in a supernatural loop, forcing him to relive February 2nd in Punxsutawney over and over. Each morning at 6 a.m., everything resets. His body, the town, the weather, it all snaps back, but his mind stays intact, carrying every memory forward. What's key is that the film gives no reason for the loop. No curse, no machine, no sci-fi twist. It's all about Phil's journey. At first, he dives into selfishness, using the loop for indulgence, manipulation, and even trying to escape through death. But as days stack up, something shifts. He starts learning, growing, helping townspeople, and truly caring about Rita. The escape doesn't come from solving a puzzle or breaking a spell. It comes when Phil genuinely changes, showing real kindness and love without expecting anything back. Then, without warning, the loop ends, and February 3rd finally arrives. Unlike other time travel stories, this isn't about physics or paradoxes. It's a moral loop, a test of character, where time itself bends around Phil's transformation until he's ready to move forward. Looper. Time travel here is all about crime and consequences. In the future, around 2074, mobs use illegal time machines to send targets 30 years into the past, right down to the second, where loopers wait to execute them and erase all traces. It's a one-way trip, no return, and sometimes they even send back the older version of the looper himself to close the loop. The tech's shown as gritty hardware, and the characters make it clear they've got no clue how it actually works. What matters is what it does. The past can be changed, and the effects ripple in real time. For example, when young Seth's fingers are cut, old Seth watches them disappear from his own hand. But here's where it gets messy. Old Joe keeps memories of his original timeline, even after things shift. Both versions can exist together, the future stays flexible, and paradoxes pile up. Young Joe's final act, taking himself out to stop Old Joe, shatters one possible future, stopping the Rainmaker's rise. Looper mixes fixed jumps, mutable outcomes, and brutal cause and effect, all tangled in a knot of past and future selves. Tenet. Time here flips through entropy inversion, not classic time travel. Using temporal turnstiles, people and objects have their entropy reversed, making them move backward through time while still experiencing it forward themselves. A reverse bullet returns to the gun, fire turns to ice, and wounds close instead of open. But inverted people need special gear, including oxygen, since regular air no longer works for their reversed bodies. There's no shortcut either. If someone wants to go back a week, they must live that week inverted step by step. What's wild is that both normal and inverted versions can exist at once, interacting carefully to avoid catastrophic annihilation. The film uses temporal pincer movement, where two teams operate from both time directions to outmaneuver enemies. At the heart of it all is the algorithm, a device with the potential to invert the world's entropy entirely, which would collapse time itself. Tenet wrestles with determinism, circling around the idea that what's happened, yet characters still fight to shape outcomes. It's a sharp layered system of time manipulation that turns cause and effect into an elaborate dance, the butterfly effect. Time travel here happens entirely in Evan Treborn's mind. By reading his childhood journals, Evan projects his adult consciousness back into his younger body at key moments where he previously blacked out. There's no machine, no portal, just his memories and the written records that act as a trigger. Each time he changes the past, the timeline rewrites itself from that point on, creating a brand new reality. What sets this apart is that Evan keeps the memories of every version, even as the world resets around him. Minor actions, like stopping a small injury or saving a pet, ripple out unpredictably, reshaping relationships, careers, and even life or death outcomes. The film leans into the butterfly effect concept, showing how small moments can unleash huge, chaotic consequences. Evan's jumps are voluntary. He controls when and where he goes by choosing which journal entry to read. But every jump comes at a cost, piling on the psychological strain of living multiple lives and facing the fallout of every altered choice. It's personal, messy, and shows just how fragile reality becomes when even the tiniest detail changes. Avengers Endgame. Time travel here dives into the quantum realm, where the Avengers use Pym particles to slip between years without changing their own timeline. Instead of rewriting history, every action spins off a new alternate reality. That's why Bruce Banner stresses returning the Infinity Stones to their original points, to keep those branches stable and avoid spiraling chaos. The Ancient One lays it out clearly: yank a stone, and you fracture reality. Put it back, and you seal the split. The rules are strict: no meeting past selves, no betting, no shortcutting big threats like eliminating baby Thanos. Even when 2014 Nebula is killed, or 2014 Thanos leaps into 2023, those events stay locked to branched timelines, leaving the main one untouched. Captain America's final mission, returning the stones, ties everything up neatly, and his decision to stay in the past with Peggy Carter doesn't create a new timeline. Endgame's time travel is less about paradoxes and more about timeline maintenance, jumping between dimensions, stealing moments, and patching things back together before everything unravels. 12 Monkeys. Time travel here works through a shaky one-way corridor from 2035 to the late 20th century, where James Cole is sent to track a virus that wiped out most of humanity. The machine's unstable, so Cole gets dropped in random years like 1990, 1917, and finally 1996, where the key events unfold. What's striking is that the timeline's fixed. Nothing Cole does can change the past because his actions were always part of it. This creates a predestination loop, where his attempts to stop the virus only help complete the chain of events he's trying to break. Cole's childhood memories of a man dying in an airport turn out to be memories of himself, shot while trying to stop Dr. Peters, the one carrying the virus. The scientists in the future collect information, but they're never aiming to rewrite history, just survive it. Cole retains his memories across jumps, but all they do is lead him exactly where history needs him. In this world, time travel isn't about escape or repair, it's about fulfilling a loop that's already locked in place. Interstellar. Time here bends through space not by hopping between years, but by moving through warped regions of space-time. Cooper and the crew travel via a wormhole near Saturn, which lets them bypass light speed limits and reach distant systems. On Miller's planet, near the supermassive black hole Gargantua, time dilates so intensely that 1 hour on the surface equals about 7 years on Earth. But the real twist comes when Cooper and TARS drop into Gargantua's event horizon, landing in a fifth-dimensional tesseract crafted by advanced future beings. Inside, time isn't linear. Cooper can access every moment in Murph's childhood bedroom at once. He uses gravity gravity to send Morse code through her watch, giving her the data needed to solve the gravity equation and save humanity. Importantly, no one travels backward in time. Only information moves across decades. The events form a closed loop, meaning everything Cooper does was always part of history. Interstellar's time mechanics lean on real physics concepts, focusing on time dilation and gravity rather than paradoxes, creating a story where love, memory, and science twist together across dimensions. Edge of Tomorrow. Time manipulation here comes straight from the alien mimics, whose Omega controls a time loop through Alpha soldiers acting as reset triggers. When an Alpha dies, the Omega rewinds the day by about 24 hours, giving the mimics a tactical edge. Major Cage stumbles into this system when he's soaked in an Alpha's blood during battle, fooling the Omega into thinking he's an Alpha too. Every time Cage dies, the loop yanks him back to the same morning no matter where he fell. The physical world resets completely, but Cage, and later Rita, keep all their memories, letting them train, gather intel, and sharpen their strategies with each brutal cycle. What's fascinating is how the loop isn't a human invention. It's part of the enemy's learning system, designed to evolve perfect victory. The loop only breaks when Cage and Rita destroy the Omega, erasing the reset mechanism entirely. When Cage wakes again, the timeline's shifted, the mimic threat is gone, and the cycle is quietly closed for good, leaving behind only the hard-earned knowledge of countless deadly repeats. Planet of the Apes. Time travel here isn't about machines or magic, it's pure physics. Colonel Taylor and his crew head out on a deep space mission, spending about 18 months in hibernation while traveling near light speed. Thanks to relativistic time dilation, only months pass for them, but around 2,000 years slip by on Earth. When Taylor wakes up, the ship's clock reads November 25th, 3978, confirming just how much time has passed. There's no return trip, no time loops, and no alternate timelines, just a one-way jump into Earth's distant future. This isn't the kind of time travel that spawns paradoxes or multiverses. It's the real-world consequence of moving at extreme speeds where time slows down for the traveler compared to those left behind. Taylor doesn't get a second chance or a reset button. What he faces, an Earth ruled by apes and shattered by past human mistakes, is the direct result of a one-directional, immutable timeline that he can only witness, not change. It's a harsh, sobering form of time travel, grounded fully in physics. Primer. Time travel here hinges on homemade boxes Abe and Aaron build after discovering a field where objects loop backward in time between the box's power on and power off moments. To jump, they power on the box, wait outside for a set period, then shut it off, climb in, and stay inside as they're rewound back to when the box was first activated. This means they live each stretch of time twice, once forward, once backward, carrying memories the whole way. Unlike many time travel stories, Primer runs on branching timelines. Each use of the box splits off a new reality, allowing multiple overlapping versions of the same person. To manage this chaos, Abe creates a fail-safe box running non-stop, letting him return to before they even began experimenting. But with every jump, the strain builds. Aaron and Abe suffer ear bleeds, cognitive slips, and physical wear as timelines pile up. Primer's brilliance is in showing time travel as an unstable, ethically messy puzzle where subjective experience matters more than paradoxes, and where even the creators lose track of how many versions of themselves they've set loose. Prisoner of Azkaban. Time travel here revolves around the Time Turner, a magical hourglass necklace that sends the wearer back 1 hour per twist. Hermione uses it to juggle extra classes, but the real test comes when she and Harry use it to save Sirius and Buck Beak. The timeline in this story is a single fixed loop. Everything they do in the past already happened. Harry's earlier sighting of a Patronus and Buck Beak's rescue weren't mysteries, they were the results of his and Hermione's future actions. They can't change known events or be seen by their past selves, avoiding dangerous paradoxes and magical fallout. The device only allows short jumps measured in hours, and it's strictly monitored to prevent misuse. Dumbledore subtly nudges them toward using it, knowing they'll fulfill what's already written in history. Instead of rewriting the past, they complete it, creating a seamless, self-consistent loop. The Time Turner is a careful magical tool that lets characters touch key moments without unraveling their world. Happy Death Day. Time here spins around a closed loop triggered by Tree Gelbman's death. Every time she's killed, the day resets at 6 a.m., landing her right back in Carter's dorm room on her birthday. The world rewinds completely, but Tree keeps every memory from previous loops, turning the whole nightmare into a deadly trial and error puzzle. She uses each repeat to dodge attacks, test suspects, and piece together her killer's identity. There's no time machine or scientific explanation in the first film. The cause of the loop is left mysterious. acting purely as a horror thriller device. The loop only covers one day, stretching from early morning to whenever Tree dies, and it resets instantly at death. Unlike movies that splinter timelines, this story sticks to one continuous reality, where only Tree is aware of the repeats. The cycle finally ends when she survives the day and solves her murder. Until then, she's stuck reliving the same birthday, dying over and over, using each reset to get one step closer to breaking free. Your name. Time here flows through mystical body swapping, where Mitsuha and Taki trade places across not just space, but years. She's in 2013, he's in 2016. When Mitsuha wakes in Taki's body, she's living his timeline, and the same happens in reverse, creating a layered connection that defies a simple, linear flow. Their intertwined timelines echo the Shinto idea of musubi, where threads of past, present, and future twist together through symbols like Mitsuha's red cord. Memory plays a huge role. When Taki drinks Mitsuha's sacred sake at the crater shrine, his fading memories reignite, pushing him to act across time. Together, they manage to save Itamori, proving that their connection reshapes real events instead of just overlapping them. After the disaster is averted, time smooths into one shared path. By 2022, both live in Tokyo, haunted by an unnamed sense of loss. When they finally meet and ask each other's name, it marks the merging of their fractured timelines into a unified present, sealing a bond that crossed years, memory, and fate to bring them together. Days of Future Past. Time travel here runs on Kitty Pryde's mutant ability to send someone's mind, not body, back in time. In a grim 2023, Wolverine's consciousness is launched into his 1973 body, giving him a chance to stop a Mystique from killing Bolivar Trask, a murder that originally triggered the rise of Sentinels and mutant extinction. Wolverine teams up with young Professor X and Magneto, hoping to shift history without unraveling it. What's key is that this creates a branching timeline. Changing Trask's fate doesn't erase the original events, but spins off a new parallel reality where the Sentinel-dominated future never happens. Once the mission's done, Kitty returns Wolverine's mind to his future body, but now that future is brighter, with dead mutants alive and the X-Men world reset. There's no physical time machine, no paradox spirals, just a one-shot psychic leap that rewrites history and reboots the franchise. The altered past leads to a new continuity, leaving the old one intact but irrelevant, setting the stage for fresh stories without carrying all the wreckage of earlier films. Coherence. Time here isn't traveled, it's fractured. On the night Miller's comet passes overhead, quantum chaos hits, overlapping multiple parallel realities inside one neighborhood. The only lit house in the area marks the epicenter, while the dark zones outside act as boundaries between tangled universes. Walking through these dark zones randomly tosses characters into alternate versions of the house, where small details like shattered glasses or changed notes signal they've slipped timelines. As the night spirals, the group realizes dozens of parallel versions are colliding, all interacting under quantum decoherence, much like Schrödinger's cat suspended between life and death. To survive the chaos, they start tracking themselves with numbered photos and a box test, trying to figure out which version they belong to. Emily takes it further, knocking out her alternate self and slipping into what she thinks is the ideal, stable timeline. But when the comet passes and morning comes, there's no clear answer who she really is or which reality she's claimed. Coherence plays with quantum weirdness, where people don't time travel, they multiverse hop, caught in an unpredictable mess of identity, chance, and collapsing possibilities. A wrinkle in time. Time and space travel here happen through tessering, a fifth-dimensional shortcut that folds the fabric of space-time, letting characters leap across cosmic distances in an instant. It's not traditional time travel, there's no hopping to the past or future, but a spatial wrinkle that bends time implicitly as a side effect. To tesser, characters must reach the right frequency, something tied deeply to love and trust, not just technology. Mrs. Whatsit, Mrs. Who, and Mrs. Witch guide Meg, Calvin, and Charles Wallace through this process, illustrating it by folding a skirt or making the world visibly ripple. Humans can't tesser on their own. Only advanced beings or Dr. Murray's experimental tech can make it happen. Despite the cosmic jumps, the timeline stays consistent. There are no paradoxes or branching universes, just one seamless reality. The Tesseract blends science and metaphor, combining concepts from Einstein's relativity and quantum theory with themes of emotional connection, showing how love becomes the force that moves characters across unimaginable distances and through overwhelming darkness. Deja Vu. Time manipulation starts with the Snow White system, a tech setup that shows a live window into the past, exactly 4 days and 6 hours prior. At first, it's used like surveillance, letting Agent Doug Carlin watch past events around a ferry bombing, but things shift when they realize they can send messages back, like notes or evidence, influencing events they've already seen. Eventually, Doug pushes the limits by sending himself physically through a wormhole created by the system, landing in the past and actively working to stop the bombing. The film juggles fixed and branching timelines. Doug's early interventions create loops where his past actions explain clues he found, but when he saves Claire and stops the bombing, a new timeline forms, one where the tragedy never happens. Doug sacrifices himself during the mission, but in the altered future, his past self survives and meets Claire, closing the loop with a bittersweet twist. Deja Vu blends time viewing, message passing, and full-body time jumps into a chaotic but fascinating mix of paradox, sacrifice, and shifting realities. Triangle. Time here traps Jess in a relentless, self-replicating loop aboard a mysterious ocean liner after her sailboat capsizes. She soon realizes she's not just reliving events, but coexisting with multiple versions of herself and her friends, all caught in the same repeating nightmare. As the loops play out, Jess encounters duplicates, including masked versions of herself who insist she must kill everyone to go home. Each time the passengers die, the cycle resets and a fresh group boards the ship, unaware of what's coming. Even when Jess escapes the liner and returns home, the loop extends. She kills her homebound self, tries to prevent a deadly car crash, but the tragedy still happens, locking her right back into boarding the sailboat the next morning. There's no clear scientific explanation. It's more of a mythic or existential punishment, echoing the endless toil of Sisyphus. Jess is stuck in a guilt-fueled loop with no origin point, doomed to repeat the same desperate attempt to save her son, only to reset over and over without true escape. The Atom Project. Time travel here runs on a DNA-locked time jet that creates wormholes, letting only the user or someone with matching DNA jump through time. Lewis Reed's invention first opened small wormholes, but he later cracked the algorithm for full-scale time jumps. The timeline is mutable, meaning past actions directly reshape the future, which is why Maya Sorian goes back to advise her younger self, creating a dark future Adam's determined to undo. While traveling, Adam keeps his memories, but once he returns to his fixed point in time, those memories realign to fit the changed history. The movie nods at classic paradoxes like erasing your own future by meddling in the past. In the end, young and adult Adam destroy the time travel tech in 2018, wiping out Sorian's grip on the future. Back in their own times, they don't recall the details, but small emotional shifts linger, like young Adam's renewed bond with his mom or future Adam's reunion with Laura, hinting that some connections transcend the rewrite. Doctor Strange. Time here bends under the power of the Time Stone, housed in the eye of Agamotto, letting Strange rewind, accelerate, or loop events using eldritch magic. He can reverse destruction, heal the dead, or trap cosmic entities like Dormammu in endless cycles, forcing negotiation by sheer persistence. This isn't traditional time travel. Strange manipulates the flow within a single mutable timeline, rewinding moments without creating alternate realities. In Infinity War, he expands the stone's use to preview over 14 million possible futures, finding the one path to victory, though he doesn't physically jump between them. The eye's reach is local. He can exclude allies from its effects, keeping them steady while rewinding chaos around them, but it doesn't allow long-range jumps across time. While the movie teases the multiverse with visual spectacles, Strange's time work stays locked to the main timeline. Later MCU films explore branching timelines and multiversal chaos, but in Doctor Strange, time is a controlled tool, powerful, tactical, and tightly bound to the present, shaping outcomes without shattering reality into paradoxes. The Lake House. Time travel here unfolds through a mysterious mailbox connecting Kate in 2006 and Alex in 2004, letting them exchange letters, gifts, and messages across 2 years without explanation, just accepted magic. What's striking is how mutable the timeline is. When Alex plants a tree in his 2004, Kate watches it appear instantly in her 2006, proving the past can rewrite the present in real time. The film plays loose with paradoxes. Kate's final letter warns Alex of his own death, letting him change his fate and rewrite their future. There's also a layered time gap. While they write across 2 years, Alex's physical timeline can eventually catch up to Kate's, aligning them for a real-world meeting. In the end, their love and timing collapse the 2-year divide, merging their lives by 2008 when they meet at the lake house in person. The lake house isn't about the mechanics, it's about emotional time travel, letting two people find each other despite years standing between them. Time Bandits. Time travel here works through holes in the space-time fabric, mapped out on a stolen cosmic chart the dwarves carry. These holes act as instant portals, letting them and Kevin leap from one historical moment to another. No machines, no build-up, just step through and you're suddenly in Napoleon's war camp, ancient Greece, or aboard the Titanic. The dwarves, former employees of the Supreme Being, use the map to pull off looting sprees, snatching treasures and ducking into the next portal before anyone can stop them. But their mischief draws attention. The Supreme Being wants the map back, and Evil, a cosmic villain, schemes to take it and unravel reality. By the end, the Supreme Being rolls up the map, revealing the whole chaotic journey as part of a divine design. Kevin wakes up in his own time, but the leftover fragment of Evil destroys his parents, leaving a dark note that tampering with cosmic forces has consequences. Time Bandits is a wild one-way jumps across eras, overseen by powers far beyond the little thieves darting between them. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.